The Chiefs just made a risky move that could impact the future of the right guard position. In this video, I'm going to give my thoughts on who's going to start at right guard in 2025. You guys are listening to the KC Sports Report. My name is Michael Darcy. Hit that like button on this video and subscribe to this channel for more of the best daily Chiefs content on YouTube. And with that being said, let's kind of recap what we've been talking about on this channel over the last 4 or 5 days, because we talked about a report that we got from Nate Taylor of The Athletic saying that the Chiefs will not use the franchise tag or the transition tag this offseason, which is a massive deal because players like Nick Bolton and Trey Smith are going to hit the open market and have an opportunity to make generational money. And are the Chiefs willing to give generational money to a right guard? And to answer that question, I do not think that they will. I think that Trey Smith has probably played his last game in a Chiefs uniform. The Chiefs are going to try to go younger and cheaper at that position. And unfortunately, with just how much it is to franchise tag a right guard, Trey Smith playing under the franchise tag for the Chiefs in 2025 would cost the Chiefs over $25 million. They can't do that. The Chiefs just can't do that, especially because you've got so many other guys on this roster that you need to pay. And if we just talk about the pecking order of importance on that offensive line, right guard isn't more important than left tackle at this stage in the game. We saw what happened when you didn't have a left tackle in multiple Super Bowls. The Chiefs got blown out. So left tackle is the top priority for Brett Veach, the top priority for this Chiefs front office this offseason. It sucks to say, but I don't really care about right guard right now. I think other people are more important and should be the Chiefs' top priority. And also, Trey Smith is going to get a bag. Trey Smith's going to get $20 to $22 million a season. You're going to see bad teams like the Patriots and the Bears, maybe even the Raiders, offer ridiculous contracts, maybe upward of $100 million for a right guard. The Chiefs can't do that. And if they did do that, that would be financially irresponsible given all of the other team needs. There are so many guys that they have to pay, and they just don't have the money to give Trey Smith $100 million over 4 or 5 seasons, because he's going to get $20 to $23 million a season. And at that price tag, I'm okay. So what are some viable options at right tackle? Because we just said, or right tackle, right guard. What are some viable options for that position? Because while I titled this video, "The Chiefs Made a Risky Decision," they do have some interesting options to fill in for Trey Smith. Now, this article is coming from Arrowhead Pride. It is coming from an article from Caleb James, and he was talking about how Kingsley showed great promise at right guard in that final game of the season against the Broncos. He was able to log, 23 snaps as a pass protector, and he only allowed 2 pressures, which is a pretty solid number. He could be better, but I think that moving to the inside would probably be more beneficial. And Caleb mentions it in this article. He played 165 snaps at left tackle, and he struggled a lot. He got benched after that game against the Bengals. It happened mid-game. You saw that Trey Hendrickson abused Kingsley Suamataia, and they very quickly pulled him from left tackle. And from that point going forward, we didn't really see very much of him until that final game of the season, where the Chiefs were just trying stuff on that offensive line. And so since they were trying things, they discovered that Kingsley Suamataia, the team's second-round draft pick from last season, has some potential at right guard. I don't think that Kingsley is going to be a tackle in the future. There's been some people saying maybe he could kick out and play right tackle, or maybe he's not done at left tackle. He just needs more time to develop. I think he's probably going to be a guard at the NFL level, and I don't hate Kingsley as a, right guard for this team. He's cheap. I think he has the skill set. The transition's going to be easier for him because it's just easier to play guard in the NFL than tackle. The Chiefs kind of have this position filled. If they discover that Kingsley can, make that switch, if they're confident that he can be a solid replacement, you're not going to replace Trey Smith. You're not going to find someone that is as good as he was on the contract that he was on. He was a what, 6th round draft pick? You're not going to find that. You're probably going to have to find, a lower level replacement. And as long as they aren't horrible, it's an okay transition because you do have Creed Humphrey, who you paid, and you do have Joe Thuney, who you also paid. So the Chiefs have spent a lot of money on that offensive line, and we haven't even gotten to the left tackle. They paid Jawaan Taylor, they paid Creed Humphrey, they paid Joe Thuney. You can't pay a left tackle and you can't pay a right guard at the same time. So I do not expect to see Trey Smith back on this team. I think that Kingsley Suamataia is a good option at right guard going forward, but also they could draft someone in this draft to be a replacement level player. That's what they did when they ended up, drafting Trey Smith. He ended up being the, guy that won the job in training camp, and he never looked back. And maybe you can find that in this draft. You can always find, solid players in the later rounds, but I'm not as worried about replacing Trey Smith's production as I would be of a quality left tackle. Because as you saw this season, when Joe Thuney had to kick out to left tackle, he was good in a pinch, but he wasn't a left tackle. And so we're going to talk more about why Kingsley Suamataia is a good fit to be right guard next season after this ad break. This video is sponsored by my friends over at Mozy. Mozy is a wearable and weatherproof thermal wrap which is guaranteed to keep you warmer than a normal stadium blanket. If you're going to any outside tailgates or parties or any event, you gotta stay warm. And the best way to do that is by getting yourself a Mozy. And right now, if you click the link in my description, you will get 30% off your entire order by using code KCSR at checkout. And fellas, if you want to get your girlfriend or wife the best present ever, go get her a Mozy. It keeps her warm. You'll be able to do more activities outside. And I cannot tell you how many times that Mozy has come in the clutch by keeping the girlfriend warm. So definitely go check out the link in my description. Get 30% off your order by using code KCSR. And once again, thank you to Mozy for sponsoring this video. Shout out to all the sponsors that support this channel all off season long. But getting back into the main topic of this video, do you want to see Kingsley Suamataia play right guard in 2025? I think that's a very interesting question that I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments section below. I kind of like the idea. He's a failed tackle. We've seen players, kind of fail at tackle, whether it's left or right, and then kick in at guard and be pretty solid players. Another guy that could be capable of taking over for Jawaan Taylor next year, if they decide to do that at right tackle, would be Wanya Morris. Wanya Morris is another player who stepped in and played some pretty good snaps at right tackle, and so the Chiefs have some interesting options for that position. But if we just look at, players who I think could fit, if we look at this article from Caleb James from Arrowhead Pride, he kind of put together some of the snaps that he played in that Broncos game where he was able to go against a very talented, rusher in Zach Allen, and was regarded as one of the best defensive tackles, and Kingsley held his own. He's got, the strong hands, the quick feet. He just kind of struggled to get to his spot at left tackle. But again, like Kingsley, I think could handle a guy that is either a bull rusher, but also you got to think about it realistically. If a player kicks in at right guard instead of playing left tackle, he is going to get more help from the tackles in terms of, the blocking assignments. Players are going to be able to kind of help fill that space. There's just more space for a tackle to cover than a guard. And Kingsley struggled in that space. But if you move him inside at right guard, condense that space, I think he could be formidable. And if he's not, I at least want to see the Chiefs try this. I don't want to see them try Kingsley at left tackle. I do not hate, trying him at right guard, saving that money and, going out and signing a left tackle, going out and drafting one, spending money on other positions of need and kind of keeping it cheap at that right guard position. So Chiefs Kingdom, I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section below. What do you think of the idea of Kingsley playing at right guard? And do you think that that's a solid option going forward? Like, do you trust Kingsley being the right guard of the future for this team? Definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Also, go check out Caleb James' article on Arrowhead Pride. I probably butchered it. I tried to, go through some of the stats, but, you got to read the article to fully get it, so I'll link that in the description below. But that's all I have for this video, guys. I appreciate all of you for watching, and as always, go Chiefs.